Well, they certainly don't make them like they used to. They used to burn down a lot more than today. My house is over 90 years old, and because of that, it uses balloon frame construction. In the 1800s, balloon frame construction became popular as a cheap way to build houses. In a balloon framed house, there are boards directly from the basement foundation all the way up to the attic. So the studs you see there underneath the window actually are one single board running all the way into the basement. Unfortunately, that means that there's a continuous chimney-like structure that during a fire could accelerate the fire. After my first building inspection, where I thought I had reinforced the floor of the attic, there was a number of issues that needed to be addressed. One of the first is putting in fire blocking to help remove the fire risk due to the balloon frame construction. Before we can cut out the 16 fire blocks we need, we're going to need to measure each one. In a brand new house, these studs would be exactly 16 inches on center. Nothing in this house is exactly anything. So we're going to have to measure for each one. As you're tackling a project, there's always a set of skills, tools, and materials. Skills is your knowledge and know-how. Tools are things like the measuring tape, things that help you get the job done, and materials, things that will be used up during the project. And in this case, the actual 2x4s that we're cutting are the materials. The nails that we're using are the materials. And even I'm considering this paper to be the materials used up to get this fire block job done. So for each one of the spaces, we'll need to measure between the studs. And in this instance, we are at half, 3/4, 7/8. So it's 14 and 7/8. So write that down that we have 14 and 7/8 for block number 16. I'm starting in the middle here for this example. Next, we need to measure all of them. So, before I can install the fire blocks, I need to cut out all the fire blocks. So if we were to take our tape measure and measure out 9 and 7/8 according to our list for the first one, measure on both sides of the tape measure. That way it'll average out in case you got a little bit of a diagonal on there. We're gonna square up that line just in case. This will help that average. So now we have a pencil line where we want to cut. Now I'm going to cut it using my DeWalt chop saw. It has a laser installed that shows me where the blade's going to be. If my hand's here, it's going to get cut. I need to make sure to keep my hand out of the way of the blade. So we just need to line up the red laser dots with the pencil line. Make sure that it's tight to the back, flat to the bottom, so we get a nice square cut, and then we cut. Now, I just need to do that 15 more times. The first fire block we measured was number 6. We're going to install that first, just because it's an easier spot, not under the eaves to film. Normally you'd start at the one corner or the other. We're going to start kind of in the middle just because it's going to be easier to see what I'm doing. So this first one, we've measured it really tight, and it's really tight here. We want it to be as tight as possible, since the whole point of this is to stop an air gap. So we want it flush to the studs, because we're going to be putting the subflooring all the way up to the studs here. And I already marked the line, this level line here, that it's the same height as the subfloor. I wanted the fire break to be at the same height as the subfloor, so that everything on the second floor is within one space, and nothing from below can get up onto this level. Tipping it in there, just going to level it out a little bit. Get the back side up. This doesn't have to be perfect, but the more it's in line with where the floor is going to be, the better it'll look, or hopefully it'll be sealed up a little bit tighter that way. So we have it flush here. We have it mostly lined up with the lines. It doesn't have to be perfect. This isn't structural or visible. It just needs to provide a very tight air gap on the inside of here. So once we have it put in place, we're going to nail it to keep it from getting away with 8-penny common nails. 8-penny nails are long enough to keep it in place. This, once again, isn't structural, so I'm trying to use the smallest nail that is long enough to hold it in place and keep it from moving. This one will be nailing from the ends. The remaining ones will get 2 nails from the end, and then 1 nail that will be nailed in at a 45-degree angle, just to keep it from moving around. We just need to get them all in place here. They're not going to have any weight on them. So I'm going to be nailing them in with a pneumatic palm nailer. Could use a hammer in here, but inside here it's a little tight to get a good swing on the hammer at this angle. And well, I have a palm nailer. So okay, so now we have fire block number 6 in place. It's tight in there, so it won't get pushed out. It's tight all along this edge here, so we shouldn't get any air around here. And now I just need to do 16 more of these.